We didn't grow up with the internet grew up with us. And that changed everything. We were the first generation to be watched while becoming ourselves. Our childhood wasn't private. It was documented, compared, and quietly judged in real time. Likes became feedback. Views became validation. And before we knew who we were, we learned how to appear. Early exposure rewired our attention. We learned to scroll before we learned to sit with boredom, to react before we could reflect. Identity wasn't something discovered slowly. It was something tested publicly. Every post asked a question: is this version of me acceptable? So we performed. We adjusted. We edited ourselves to fit what worked. The pressure wasn't loud, but it was constant. Be interesting. Be visible. Be enough. Growing up in the 2000s meant learning how to be seen before learning how to be understood, and some part of us is still trying to log off just to figure out who we really are. The 2000s feel warmer in memory, not because they were perfect, but because they were slower. Time felt wider back then. Days stretched. Moments stayed. Now everything moves at the speed of refresh. We don't live time, we consume it. And when life moves too fast, the mind looks backward for something solid to hold on to. That's why nostalgia feels comforting. It's not about the past. It's about the absence of noise. Constant stimulation quietly trained our nervous systems to stay alert. Notifications replaced silence. Background anxiety became normal. We learned to stay busy so we wouldn't have to feel. Even rest started to feel unproductive. Somewhere along the way, safety stopped being something we experience in the present. It became something we remember, a feeling tied to old rooms, old screens, old songs. Not because life was easier, but because our minds weren't always on edge. And we've been trying to recreate that calm ever since. Burnout feels permanent because slowing down was never taught to us. Even as kids, we were overstimulated, overconnected, and always one step ahead of ourselves. Rest became something we earned, not something we needed. So now exhaustion shows up early, not as collapse, but as numbness. Healing doesn't mean unplugging from the world. It means relearning presence inside it. Small pauses, unshared moments, attention that isn't measured or rewarded. In a hyper-connected life, choosing stillness feels rebellious. But the nervous system doesn't heal through productivity, it heals through safety. Growing up now doesn't look like having everything figured out. It looks like knowing when to log off, when to stop performing, when to sit with yourself without distraction. Maturity isn't speed or success. It's the ability to be here without needing constant input. And for a generation that never slowed down, that might be the most important skill we ever learn.